All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to reveal the new information coming out from Dana White and Turki Alalshiek about their TKO boxing. And we're going to go through the new pay scale that they put out, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. And I think my opinion is going to be not quite what you expect. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be talking about the business of boxing as another entity is attempting to take over the sport. This time it is called TKO, and it is a partnership in part between Dana White, who runs the UFC, and Turki Alalshiek, that was responsible for the Riyadh season and a lot of the fight cards that have taken place on DAZN over the last couple of years. Now, when this happened, people, of course, are saying, oh, man, this means they're taking over boxing. Turki Alalshiek said a bunch of crazy things about dominating the market and putting promoters out of business and all of that stuff. Well, we'll see what happens with that. But with Dana White releasing this pay scale, I think it tells us a lot about the business. And I'm going to tell you in short, Dana White is not going to need Turki, and Turki's going to be gone. Just looking at this pay scale, I'm telling you, Turki Alalshiek is going to be gone. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you guys so much. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks below. It's a great way to help sponsor channels, do the work that you like. But let's get into this. First things first, I'm going to tell you what the pay scale is, and then I'm going to give you my take and let you know what I think the impact of it is. And also, there's a lot of questions that you have to ask based on the information that they gave you. So in essence, it is a tiered structure where it goes from the champion all the way down to non-ranked opponents. The ranked opponents are only ranked in the top 10. It doesn't look like they have any the ranked fighters go to 10. And then after that, all of those people are unranked fighters. So unranked fighters, I suppose, are fighting each other as an attempt to get to the point where they can be ranked, 10 to 5, and the pay scale changes. And after you go from 4 to number 1, the pay scale changes. And then if you're fighting for a championship, right, then that you get to pay for that. And as a champion, when you're fighting, you get a set pay for that. So let's look at the numbers. You get $20,000 for a 10-round fight if you're an unranked fighter. Okay? $20,000 if you're unranked, if you go into a fight. That's how much you're going to make no matter who you fight. $20,000. $50,000 a fight for people ranked in between number 10 all the way up to number 5. They would get $50,000 per fight, and that $50,000 a fight. And then the next level is people that are challengers for the title. Now, it doesn't say what you're going to get paid, I don't believe, as number 1. I don't see where it talks about what you're going to get paid as a number 1 to number 5, but it says that the challenger will get a $375,000 for a fight that they challenge for. And then the champion is gets $75,000 per fight. Okay, so that is roughly the pay scale. I think there may be like a $75,000 or something like that is in there. That like $75,000 fight. I think something like that for guys that are between number 1 and number 5. So anyway, it's a pay scale. So you know what you're going to get paid based off where you're ranked. Now, there's some problems here. Number one, boxing has more than 10-round fights. So if you have fewer than 10-round fights, what is your pay scale for 4-round fights? What is your pay scale for 8-round fights? Because when fighters are they have to come in and fight 4-round fights. They have to come in and fight 8-round fights before they're ready to go to a 10-round fight. Unless you're somebody that's already 30 years old or something like that, I think that that will be a very tough scenario for fighters that are not ready to go to 10-round fights. Because if they're forced to go to a 10-round fight immediately, they may not be ready for that 10-round fight, and that can affect their development. Then, so what about 4 to 8-round fights? It doesn't seem like they have anything in there. But the thing that really makes me question this is if you think about how many times fighters fight in a single year, single fighters fight about 3 times a year, maybe 4 times, 3 times a year once they're ranked inside. Once they're ranked and they get to the 10-round fights, then they start fighting 2-3 times a year. So let's say for this 10-round fight that these guys are getting $20,000 for, well, how many times are they going to fight a year? Well, say they fight 3 times. If they fight 3 times in a year, that's $60,000. And most of these fighters that are going to fight are never going to get in the ranking system into a top. They're not going to get into the top 10 if you have another 100 fighters in a weight class. So my question is, how in the world is it worth their time to do it? When if you can fight 3 times a year and make $60,000 or 4 times a year and make $80,000 a year, why wouldn't you just go get your commercial driver's license and drive a truck? I mean, seriously, you can make a more reliable pay driving a truck than you can fighting 10 rounders for $20K each. Then you move up to the next pay. So that is talking about unranked fighters. Almost every one of those unranked fighters would be better off if they're in the United States, would be better off going to get a CDL and earning their $60,000 driving a truck instead of taking punches to the head. But then when you get into the top 10, what are you going to fight? You're going to fight what? 3 times, say they fight 3 times a year. That's $150K a year for guys that are ranked between number 5 and number 10 for $150,000 a year if they stay there. Now, of course, if they win a championship, they go or they challenge for a fight, they make $375. So once you start getting into the championship stuff, then that particular person can probably earn enough money where they can reliably take care of themselves for the remainder of their, for their career. Also, you have to wonder, what about the training costs? What about the training costs associated with this 20K? What about the training costs associated with this 50K? Are you going to take their training costs and charge them for their training costs? Or are they supposed to go out and hire their own people? It's just going to be very interesting to see how that works out and seeing if this pay structure is anything like what the pay structure is in UFC. You can see why the UFC comes to boxing, because once you top off and now you have a guy that's a champion fighting for $750,000 a fight, I would love to know what in the world you're going to do to keep that man that's making $75,000 a fight as a champion, $750,000 as a champion. You're not going to remove from them the desire to make the $100 million, the $50 million, the $30 million that big guys make. So once those guys get there, what are they going to do then? Are they going to continue to then wind up paying for all of the unranked fighters with the money that they're generating at the top? It sounds like it is a revenue sharing type of thing that's going on within the fighters, but the Dana White and these guys are going to take a cut out of everything. And these guys might wind up having to fight 15 10-round fights to make a living. Yeah, this is most definitely going to increase the number of fights these guys have to have because they're not getting paid anything. That is the exact opposite of the Turki Alalshiek model, which was they were going to overpay everybody. So again, my conclusion is that Turki Alalshiek's out of here, because why would you even need Turki Alalshiek for something like this? I'm not saying that I don't want it to work. I just see all kind of complications with this, because you're going to have people that are boxed into this TKO, and guess what? They're not. And then you don't even take into consideration what's going to go on with the sanctioning bodies and the rankings within the sanctioning bodies, because they're getting paid off their rankings within TKO boxing. So it's just a really, it's going to be interesting to see how they pull this off. And but I don't see why in the world they need Turki to do this. Anyway, that's my mind on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.